Every level of comedian explained. What separates the bad from the good or the great? It's time to make some enemies.
Level 7, Comedy Genius.
Starting with the goats and working our way down. Trust me, it's more interesting that way. A comedy genius only comes around our society about as often as a UFO, which is apparently becoming common, actually. Has anyone else seen that propaganda? Okay. I'm only including 5 comedians in each level. Every other level could have dozens or even hundreds of comedians, but level 7 doesn't. There's only a handful of comics that have ever and will ever get here. Dave Chappelle, cultural philosopher.
Terrorists are smart. They know what they're doing there, you know. They terrorists. They know black people's bad bargaining chips. They called the White House and, hello? We have got 5 blood. Hello?
Basically the Kanye West of comedy. His old stuff is so ridiculously good and classic, it doesn't matter how much new trash he puts out. He's still just the greatest to ever do it. Chris Rock. Effortless commentary. When he's on stage, it feels like Chris Rock is just talking to you, very casually, but it's hilarious and insightful and captivating in a way that no one else is. Eddie Murphy, superstar presence.
The joke that you can tell down at school. A bear and a rabbit are taking a shit in the woods. The bear turns to the rabbit and says, "Excuse me, do you have problems with shit sticking to your fur?" And the rabbit says, "No." So the bear wiped his ass with the rabbit.
I don't think tons of people my age and younger have really seen Eddie Murphy's stand-up. We've all seen his movies and stuff, but you gotta watch his stand-up. It is unbelievably good. Cat Williams, electrifying chaos. Comedians love to talk about killing it and murdering on stage. Well, there probably isn't a better example of that happening than Cat Williams' The Pimp Chronicles.
White people are friendly. You can call them motherfuckers up at 3 o'clock in the morning with the wrong number and they won't even be mad at you. They just, hello? No, I'm sorry, no Shaquita here. Well, what number did you dial? No, it's a 9, not a 7. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, call me back. We'll figure this thing out.
Cat Williams in his prime was something else. Brian Regan, everyday simplicity storytelling. Don't think too hard about these stupid little tags I'm coming up with for each of them. It's more so just to distinguish them a little bit for people who don't know who they are.
I called UPS to ask them to help out with some boxes, and I called them up. Yeah, I have 10 boxes if you come pick them up.
We need to know the weight and the girth. Okay, goodbye.
A level 7 comedian can easily get... A level 7 comedian can easily get deep and profound on your ass, making you reconsider life before you've even realized it was all just the setup for another joke. And you don't know how it happened, but you're back to laughing. And yes, Richard Pryor and George Carlin are obviously level 7s. Honestly, they might even be level 8s. The grandfather wizard level or something. I could go on and on about these guys, so let's not.
Level 6, hilarious.
A level 6 comedian really isn't even that much worse than a level 7. They're just a little more niche, a little less universal. Norm Macdonald, master of misdirection. Norm Macdonald once said,
You know, people ask me about stand-up comics, who's good? I go, well, the last good guy was Kinison. He was the last original comedy voice.
I don't get it. He may have been original because he was the first to do it, but all he did was scream into the microphone.
There's a reason! There's a fucking reason!
Sorry, Norm, but everyone in level 6 is more unique than Sam Kinison was, including Norm. Level 6s are so original, you can't even steal their jokes because only they can tell them. Maybe the best example of that, a bonus level 6 comedian while I'm on this tangent, is Mitch Hedberg.
I went to the doctor. All he did was suck blood from my neck. Do not go see Dr. Acula.
I was walking by a record store. The sign out front said they specialized in hard-to-find records and tapes. Nothing was alphabetized. If you're watching a parade, make sure you stand in one spot. Don't follow it. It never changes. And if you don't like the parade, run in the opposite direction. You will fast forward the parade.
I just wish I could hear Norm Macdonald expound on why he thinks Sam Kinison was the last original comic, I guess. What are his specifications for that? Especially because he was a fan of Mitch Hedberg. Christ. Anyways, no one will ever do what Norm did, better than Norm did. Patrice O'Neal, Charisma King.
The TV's so loud. Well, turn it down. Ain't that better? Can't hear the TV. Why is it so cold in here? Turn it off. Ain't that better? Sweating. Ain't that better? Why is it so dark in here? Let some sunlight in. Ain't that better?
I don't think anyone will have a more aptly named special for themselves than Elephant in the Room. Doug Stanhope, Degenerate Nihilist.
I have definitive proof of an afterlife. I didn't get weird or go religious on you. My mother killed herself in 2008. Don't worry, this is a fun story. It was the best death. She had, at this point, been 4 years sober. And I'm like, you're not gonna kill yourself sober, right? You can't take those chips with you. I said, Ma, if you're gonna kill yourself seriously, you can't do it on Sunday or Monday, because that's football. And that's, if there were no afterlife, how could my mother have bought me and my friends so many nice things on her credit card 4 days after she passed? Answer me that, Your Honor.
If you want dark, depressing drug humor that's insanely illusionary and insightful, this is your guy. He's like the comedian David Foster Wallace, or I guess Hunter S. Thompson, right? That kind of vibe. John Mulaney, down to earth absurd.
I go over to the Delta Help Desk, which is an oxymoron, and I go, can I please go home on an airplane? And they go, no. In fact, we're gonna frame you for murder.
Very vivid bits that feel like they're straight out of a comedy movie. Tim Heidecker, anti-comedian. Remember, this is about stand-up.
I guess you don't have what it takes to be a stand-up guy.
But what about airline food?
What?
Airline food, my gosh, what is up with that stuff? Thank you, good night. See, I can be a stand-up guy.
I don't know if I even said, it's mostly about stand-up specials. By any other comedy metrics, he probably would be level 7. But his stand-up is still great.
I said to my friend, and he said, you got to use this in the show. I said, if I ever get to go to another planet, right, I will not be saying, take me to your leader. I will be saying, take me to your sushi. So listen, folks, like I said, I'm one of the top 5 comedians in the country.
I know I said this in level 7 too, but I don't think there's many more comedians that can really get into level 6. Meanwhile...
Level 5. Very funny.
Okay, well actually you're about to see that level 5 is still ridiculously stacked. In my eyes, to get into level 6, and especially level 7, you just have to be truly, undeniably special. And then level 5 is just all the rest of the funniest comedians on the planet, basically. Some of them might even eventually become level 6, specifically if your name is Nick Mullen. Relevant, irreverent irony. He better drop another special, because his first one, The Year of the Dragon, is really good. It's one of the best modern specials.
I want to own up to that I did somewhat recently that I feel kind of bad about, but I want to confess to it. I'll just tell you what it was. It was a couple years ago during the last Winter Olympics, which I was watching with my then girlfriend, and I killed her.
And it's still way less funny than Nick Mullen usually is. Louis C.K., self-deprecation loser.
You ever just forget you're broke? I went to this department store and I got like a fucking electric toothbrush and all that stuff. And the guy goes, $85? And I was like, oh, I don't have any money. And he's like, well, you don't have enough? No, I don't have any.
He's objectively talented and infectious on stage. Donald Glover, underrated auteur. Yeah, don't say shit to me about Donald Glover being here. He's insane. For how little material he has and how good it all is, I think it's only Patrice O'Neal that is comparable.
Pushed over this little girl, she fell over, and her Trinidadian babysitter comes over and goes, hey, you leave that little girl alone. And he goes, suck my dick. And the lady goes, someone better get this little niglet away from me.
He's like the Lauryn Hill of comedy. Drops one of the best albums ever and then just dips forever. Actually, I was sort of kidding, but that's weirdly accurate, right? They both have the one main project, the other sort of forgotten one, and they both left their original groups for much bigger things. They're kind of weird. Bill Burr, frustrated ranting, turns his everyday frustrations into crowd-pleasing jokes. Hannibal Buress, relaxed bizarro.
I'm just assuming it was a he. I think when you see a rat,
That's a dude, right? Rats are dudes. That's a dude trait to be a rat. Rats are dudes, no matter what. Unless it's giving birth right there. All right, that's a lady rat. Or it could be a dude rat pulling an elaborate prank. The old pregnant lady dude rat shit.
Laid back bullshit. His aura makes people around him more funny. You might be surprised to see some of these comedians in this level this low, but I think the best way to compare how non-disparaging it is to be in level 5 is to compare it to comedy movies. So if level 7 is Airplane, right, then level 6 is like Tropic Thunder, level 5 would still be like Superbad. So yeah, there's 2 levels higher than these comedians, but they're still some of the best ever.
Level 4. Good.
I think you're lying if you say any of these guys are trash, but you're also delusional if you think any of them are anywhere near the best ever. So we've got Josh Johnson, Current Event Insight. He's got to be like the hardest guy working in comedy right now. He covers current events as quickly as the news does, but with an entire stand-up routine. Stavros Halkias. Infectious crowd work. Stavy is the human laugh track. He's just funny. He's like the funny fat friend everyone had growing up. Nate Bargatze. I don't even know how to. Humble hometown hijinks.
Mom and pop shops closed for no reason. You go in there, you're like, why are you closed today? They're like, we're sad. You're like, all right, that's not even a legit thing. Walmart, you could shoot the entire staff. It would be an hour of confusion, and they'd be up and running again.
Cut from the same cloth as John Mulaney and Brian Regan. You turn him on for the whole family, and he'll make any age group laugh. Bo Burnham, Meta Musical.
My ex-girlfriend had a really weird fetish. She used to like to dress up as herself and then act like a fucking bitch all the time.
Very overrated by the internet, but he is still poignant and interesting. Howie Mandel. No, he sucks though.
What happens to me every time my mommy puts me to bed?
I'm just unfairly boosting him here because he watched my video about his weird animated Pinocchio movie. And that's hilarious. Anyway, level 4 is probably the highest level of funny any new comedian should be striving to be.
Level 3. Mid.
Ultimately, the guys in level 3 are funny here and there.
You guys here for business?
Yes.
What kind of business? Funny business?
And they have a certain charm to them, so that even though they kind of suck, it makes sense why they have a fan base. You get why they're a comedian, right? At least much more so than the levels below. Shane Gillis, Natural Bro. His good delivery and likable bro energy make up for a lot. Similar to Theo Von, Oddball Rambling. It's easy to confuse him with a goofy NPC from a Rockstar game like GTA 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2. Tom Segura, Smug and Mundane. Prime example of a funny fatty losing the funny when they lose the weight. Just like Jonah Hill, Greek God X, Chris Pratt, and Stavros. Please never lose weight. Anyways, back to Tom Segura, who got even worse again when he became genuinely obsessed with how rich he is and depressingly petty towards anyone less so. It sucked his soul dry of any ounce of humor he had left. Ari Shafir, Uncomfortable Controversial.
Hey! No, it's okay. Go ahead. It's wet. It's got a wet back.
The funniest thing Ari Shafir's ever done is drugging Bert Kreischer in front of his entire family. I'm not saying it's right, but it's Bert Kreischer. Mark Normand, Uselessly Clever. His shrewdness and severity obfuscates how shallow the comedy actually is. So obviously, yeah, we made it down to the Rogan sphere. They're swarming down here. There are plenty of non-Boppaverse comedians in this level too, but the thing is that all of the Roganverse is in level 3 or below.
Level 2. Bad.
Now we're truly at the level where it's like, how are they even considered comedians? How did they ever find a fan base? Even the worst of the worst comedians in past decades would really only get to level 3. Like, these Rogan Sphere guys have created whole new levels of bad comedy. Like Andrew Schultz, Forced Contrarian. Well, Andrew got his start from being friends with Charlemagne the God, who I used to be a big fan of back in high school because of The Breakfast Club. So I checked out his podcast, The Brilliant Idiots, with his co-host, Andrew Schultz. Needless to say, I've been a hater ever since. He fucking sucks, man. I don't get it. And if you didn't already know, all the crowd work is fake. Same with all of these guys, and also like Matt Rife. Tony Hinchcliffe, racist roastist. The absolute scum of the earth. Tony's the long-lost identical twin of Ela Klein. And somehow he's even less funny than she is, and probably more evil.
No matter how much money black people have, they're still just gonna act like ninjas. The black community is so proud of you right now. George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe.
He's the most spiteful, hateful, despicably ego-driven, creepy, flamboyant cunt. He's like a character of the worst cartoon characters. Here's some cartoon characters he reminds me of. Bert Kreischer, shallow enthusiasm. Bert should never have received all the attention he has. It's so clearly unhealthy for him in the long term. He's gonna keep spiraling lower and lower exponentially from here. David Lucas, Matan Mogd. An 18-year-old troll ended his career. What more do I need to say? Brendan Schaub. Not real. For some reason, Brendan Schaub thinks he can do anything he sets his little CTE brain to, despite historically being unsuccessful at everything he's ever done.
Everything they eat, bean cheese, bean cheese, bean cheese, bean cheese. I'm like, what the hell, man?
So, you're probably thinking some of these comedians are supposed to be in level 1, right? How is there worse than this? You're about to find out.
Level 1, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan has to have his own level. He buried the grave for comedy. He should have to live in it under every other comedian ever. Joe Rogan is any bit as bad as any of the level 2 comedians, and more, and worse. Let's take a minute to remember that Joe Rogan got his start from News Radio, a sitcom, and then became basically a household name because of Fear Factor. No one knew he was a comedian at all until he called out Carlos Mencia. And then he went back into obscurity and no one cared again until his podcast tricked millions of people. Not a single Joe Rogan experience goes by without him not understanding someone's joke and just derailing the conversation into something weird and overly serious for no reason. Also, putting comedy completely aside, the naive, gullible, dumbass Joe Rogan and his propaganda podcast have done more damage to society by himself than any of the rest of the levels combined could ever dream of doing. So yeah, he gets his own level. He's that bad. Let me know who you think I got right and who I got wrong. Give the video a like if you want to help it spread through the algorithm. Subscribe if you want to see my other videos. And hype the shit out of that video below. I don't know what that does yet, but I assume if everyone watching presses that button, it's gonna do something. And I'd especially love to see what comedians you guys would place in levels that I didn't include. There's so many, obviously, and I'd love to answer questions about comedians in or not in the video as well, if you want to talk to me in the comments. Also, sorry about there being no girl comedians in the video. Originally, I was gonna do a girl in every level, but then I was like, that would actually be a fun video on its own. Not even like a 7 levels thing, just like a deep dive into female comedy. Let me know if you want to watch that. I need to get like a consistent outro going. Thank you so much for watching.